Welcome back to Adventures of a Black Belt Sommelier. I am very excited this morning to tell you about an absolutely fabulous wine I tasted last night. Now, I will tell you that the guy that made this wine is a friend of mine. His name is Joel Peterson. He's a famous winemaker because back in the day, he owned a winery called Ravenswood, and he made 1 million cases of Zinfandel a year, including the Vintner's Blend Zinfandel that sold for about $10 back there. It was a wine that really over-delivered at its price point. But he also made single vineyard Zinfandels that were really extraordinary. He was one of the, it was the R's of Zinfandel, the Rosenblum, Ravenswood, Ridge, Raffinelli were the great Zinfandel producers. Joel sold Ravenswood a few years ago to, I believe it's Constellation Brands, but it may have been Treasury Wine Estates, one of the two. Then they sold it to Gallo, and now Gallo and the other company, whichever one of the two it is, are in some kind of legal hassle. So Ravenswood has kind of ceased to exist until they work all that out. At least that's my understanding from Joel. But Joel now has a winery called Once and Future Wines, which may be one of the most unusual winery names ever. And he's making really extraordinary Zinfandel again, in a lot of cases from the same vineyards that he made the great single vineyard Zinfandels from back in his days with Ravenswood. So last night I opened a 2019 Once and Future Wines Teldeschi Vineyard Zinfandel. Teldeschi is one of those vineyards that he used to make really, really great wine from. And let me tell you, he's doing it again. This wine is extraordinary. 2019, 5 years old. Most people say Zinfandel should be drunk within the first 5 or 7 years. Not this one. This is a very young wine. It's a very powerful wine. It's full-bodied. It's rich. It's spicy. There's all this really intense dark fruit. There's oak that's new. It's pretty oaky, but there's way more than enough fruit to carry the oak that it has. It's very black pepper, telecherry black pepper, black currants, blackberries, rich, powerful, intense, full-bodied. This wine is not for the faint of heart. It is it's a powerful, rich, dark, intense, massive, extraordinary wine. I think it's starting to come into its heyday. I would say I didn't open it too early, but I could have opened it 5 or 6 years from now, and it would still be strutting its stuff. I often say that you take a ribeye and grill it or pan saute it and glaze it with balsamic vinegar and crumble some gorgonzola dolce on top of it, and this would be a match made in heaven with Joel's Once and Future Wine Teldeschi Vineyard 2019. It's one of the best Zinfandels I've ever tasted, and I've tasted a lot of Zinfandel. I think it's a 96 point wine, 97, 98 point wine. Paul Draper told me once, the longtime director winemaker at Ridge told me that, Zinfandel never gets the respect it deserves because no Zinfandel's ever gotten 100 points from anyone, even the great Zinfandels that he made or that Joel made or that Raffinelli made or the Rosenblum made. No one's ever gotten 100 points, but this wine's, I don't know how it could be better. Maybe it is a 100-point wine, but it is certainly deserving of 96, 97, 98-point wines. I've got a few more bottles. I found it in a store here mispriced at $13 a bottle instead of $50, which is what it's supposed to sell for. So I bought a case. So I paid $10.70 a bottle for this wine because I got 10% discount. It's probably the best $10 wine I've ever, or $11 wine I've ever purchased in my life or ever will. because it's not really a $11 wine, it's a $50 wine. It is very, very worthy of a $50 price tag. It's extraordinary. It's fabulous. It is very, very hedonistic, very sexy, very wonderful, wonderful wine. It's not everywhere. You may, you can go on Wine Searcher and probably find some. It's worth hunting for. It's fabulous, fabulous. Thanks for tuning in to Adventures of a Black Belt Sommelier, and I will talk to you soon.